All right, real quick, I don't got a lot of time. This Roe versus Wade thing. Listen, get out of the matrix. Stop being stupid. Stop being ignorant. Understand that this has zero to do with moral value, principle. Okay? The people that drive the laws, that are sitting there making the decisions for our lives, yes, there are people that we elected, but their well-being is based off of the funding that they get from Big Pharma, industry. Big Brother is only the mouthpiece for the people that run the world, or the conglomerates that run the world. When you start to look at what comes on the news, if you want to get out of the matrix, one of the fastest ways to do is, number one, question everything, but number two is always look at who does this benefit? Who has stand something to gain from this? And I will tell you right now that if you just asked yourself that question, you should have already come up with the answer. Okay? If low income families are the target demographic for abortion, right? And impoverished people who can't raise or bring a child into this world for whatever reason, right? And they have a correlation with the same, they are the same people who just so happen to be the biggest consumers. It stands a chance that Big Pharma, right, big industry, sees that the more consumers we can have, which means the more babies that are born in these impoverished families, the more the divide of the poverty and wealth line, the money's going to always go to the top. Okay? You can look at it from the mindset of abortion is wrong or abortion is right, or it should be pro-choice, a woman's body. So listen, that's all great and dandy, and we could definitely have that talk on another channel at another time. But if you want to see the world through the eyes of the people that run it, understand that nothing is done just overnight. These things have been put into place for 10 years from now, 20 years from now, okay? These laws that they're passing, or laws that they're vetoing, or anything that has to do with law or constitutional rights whatsoever, someone stands to gain, which is why the law stays what it is. Or enough people stand to gain greater than the loss could be from having the law in place or not having the law in place. Don't be blind, people, okay? Do yourself a favor. If you want to invest in something, invest in birth control, active forms of birth control that are not going to be affected by this overturning of Roe versus Wade and the whole abortion thing, state level, federal level, whatever you want to say. Invest in rubber, invest in latex companies, invest in prophylactics, point blank, period. Don't be the last one on the train, as usually people, or usually we always are. We don't get it until 10 years later, and then we say, "Oh, that was the reason." It's just like the stimulus checks and all of the money that the government was giving out. When you realize that 40% or over 40% of the economy, or the dollars that have been printed within the last, I think, what is it, a year and a half or 2 years, last year, 40% of the circulating monies that are around right now were printed within the last year and a half. That's crazy. Okay? That just tells me that everything they told us about how stimulus is and how the unemployment money and all the money that they were printing wasn't going to affect, and everybody that questioned it and knew it was a bad idea, notice nobody brings up the old anymore. Nobody goes back and says, wait, didn't we say this was going to happen 10 years ago? No, they don't even acknowledge it. They don't even acknowledge it because in some way, shape, or form, depending on what form of news or what brand of news you're watching, both parties stand to gain, and both parties will just, they don't really care about the ideology behind it, or they don't care about the moral principle or value behind it. They are a business. People are getting paid to do these things. Stop being ignorant, okay? Understand that wherever there is conflict, there stands someone who has more to gain than another person has to lose. Stay hungry, stay hard, stay humble. Keep the focus on yourself. I'm out.